Tonight, Hurricane Milton is lashing Florida, with residents out of time to evacuate. Authorities confirming multiple lives have been lost, while those who've evacuated and those on the ground hope for the best.
Hurricane Milton is going to be a deadly and catastrophic storm.
At this point, it's too dangerous to evacuate safely, so you have to shelter in place and just hunker down.
What we're looking at is a storm of the century.
Hurricane Milton making landfall at Siesta Key just before midday Australian time, bringing with it winds of over 200 kilometres an hour and flash flooding after a 1 in 1,000 year rain event brought down more than 35 centimetres of rain.
We got waves crashing over the palm trees, okay? I've never seen this like this, ever. The whole time, it's getting flooded out by big-time storm surge. Coming in like a tsunami, you guys. In a few hours, this building, there will be so much water, and it will be up to the second floor.
Despite now being downgraded from a Category 5 to a Category 1 storm, before it hit, Milton had doubled in size. Its winds stretching a remarkable 400 kilometres from the eye of the storm.
No doubt, this is the worst conditions we have experienced this hurricane season. Milton, menacing.
The hurricane demolishing hundreds of homes and leaving more than 2 million people without power. Milton also bringing a new threat. More than 20 tornadoes, as well as a further 120 tornado warnings.
Oh my God. It's a tornado, Noah.
The roof of the stadium housing emergency service workers torn clean off. Some locals so worried they took the chilling advice to label their children's arms with permanent marker.
If you're going to stay in your home, write your name on your arm so we can identify you.
Residents who'd made for evacuation centres fearing the worst.
We can stand the wind and we can stand hurricanes, but the flooding, no, we're not taking a chance on that.
Everybody's worried about the same thing, you know. Do you have a home to come back to?
While others chose to hole up in their homes.
It was in the best interest for my wife and children to leave and for me to remain to ensure the house is okay.
I don't recommend this to anybody, not so, but we're going to be fine.
The full extent of Milton's catastrophic impact yet to be revealed as America waits for the storm to pass.
We're live from the lands of the Kulin Nation. Ryan Truchelut is Chief Meteorologist at Weather Tiger and joins us now from Tallahassee in Florida. Ryan, what's the situation like on the ground in Florida right now?
Chaotic. We're still right in the midst of this storm. It's currently crossing the Florida Peninsula, passing between Tampa and Orlando. It's going to go a little bit south of Orlando through the overnight hours and then exit the Florida coastline right near Cape Canaveral at around 5, 6 in the morning. So there's some aspects of the storm that I think we missed the worst case, and there's some that it's really too soon to know what's happened here.
So you say so far the worst case was missed in some aspect. Overall, how would you assess the damage? Was it worse than you expected?
It's too early to assess because a lot of the areas that have been damaged, surge is still rising across Southwest Florida right now. The surge that's going to come into the North Florida coastline north of Cape Canaveral is just amping up as well. In many cases, we don't really know what the damage is because it's dark and the power is out. And in other cases, the worst is still ahead for Florida.
We're also hearing about tornadoes. So, I mean, hurricanes, I think people kind of understand, but I certainly have never thought of them throwing off tornadoes in the process. Is that a common thing, and how damaging can that be?
Yes, landfalling hurricanes do often produce tornadoes, especially in their outer bands. In this case, there were more tornadoes than usual for a hurricane making landfall. Unfortunately, for several of these tornadoes that occurred across South Florida and Southeast Florida earlier today, I do know they caused damage and deaths. So it does appear to be a severe hurricane-induced tornado outbreak.
So what are the first steps in cleaning up after an event like this?
Well, the first step is to triage and assess what the damage is and what most urgently needs to be made safe and repaired and replaced. Getting power, restoring water. So just getting those essential and basic services back up is first and foremost, as well as search and rescue operations. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of those as well in the days ahead.
So, Ryan, just as a weatherman, I'd like to ask you this question because I'm sort of hearing a lot of language about, we've never seen one like this, certainly not in that part of the world, those sorts of things. Is there something really significant about this event and what it means? Are you looking at this as a weatherman and going, OK, this signals something?
Milton is a downright bizarre hurricane in the annals of hurricane history. There's just not really cases that we can go back and look at the past and see something that resembles this. Obviously, Milton is a top 5 hurricane in terms of its peak intensity and lowest pressure for any hurricane ever in the Atlantic, Caribbean, or Gulf of Mexico. There's nothing like this on the record. It's just a very, very strange beast that's reached the Florida shores tonight.
OK, Ryan, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Could you imagine being so scared writing your child's name on their arm with permanent marker?
Awful.
And early reports suggest that the damage bill could be above $100 billion. Crazy.
And they're not done yet.
No.